Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much indeed for tuning in to episode 462 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, a rare outing on a weeknight. We don't usually do these on a weeknight, do we? But if you're watching the recording, that doesn't mean anything to you at all. Still, thank you very much for tuning in, regardless of whether you're watching live or you're watching the recording. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so. And if you would like to find out how you can support my work, you should be able to see a link to my Ko-fi page in the video description below. First comment, there are a lot of you who've tuned in, which is gratifying, nice to see. First comment goes to Musk in Heaven, who says, "Good evening, everyone. My word, the forehead tells it all." Ah, but does it? Does it? Don't judge the Tilbury by the cover, or should I say by the plumpgasm. That is a term I was not familiar with until today. Mache is here as well, saying, "Sounds like a good time for us, but not Persolaise's nose." Gavin says, "I occasionally get Charlotte Tilbury ads on YouTube, and she and the ads set my teeth on edge, especially the plumpgasm ad." Of course, I am now going to have to try to find a plumpgasm ad. Is that going to be like 30 seconds of my life that I will never be able to get back? Anyway, Amethyst Glow is here too. So is Maria. So is James, Tom King. You are all very, very welcome. Again, just very, very quickly for those of you watching live, the plan for today is to do two videos, both of them showcase ones. There are a few brands that for which I've got sort of discovery sets or sometimes entire collections of samples of their work, and I keep trying to find convenient times and slots to do a sort of showcase review of them, because well, for one thing, a lot of you out there seem to appreciate and enjoy the showcase videos, and I think it's quite a good way of doing a sort of summary of a brand. And this slot presented itself today. But the two brands that we're going to be talking about today could not be more different from each other. So we're going to do the Charlotte Tilbury brand. We'll take a 2-minute break, and then we'll come back with another one. Aperol Spritz says, "Charlotte Tilbury too. Everyone wants a piece of the pie." Huh? Well, let's get going, because we have got 6 perfumes to go through. We have pre-sprayed blotters. Now, these are not the first. Sister Parfum says, "Wasn't feeling well today, so this comes on perfect time. My Persolaise therapy." Well, everybody's sending positive thoughts and what's the other word? I don't want to say vibes, because I hate that word, vibes. Let's just say positive thoughts and wishes. Wishes, that is the word I'm looking for, in your direction. These are not the first perfumes from Charlotte Tilbury. I don't know. I think I know next to nothing about her makeup products. I am reliably informed that she is genuinely highly regarded in the makeup and cosmetics world. I would say that she needs to be highly regarded in the slightly unhinged world, because there is nobody that does slightly unhinged quite like Charlotte Tilbury does with her sort of darlings routine. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just try to look her up on social media, maybe something like Instagram. She gives good unhinged. Kind of, it's like, yes, take my money now, Charlotte, I will buy whatever you want, just stop giving me the unhinged. But in 2016 she released her first perfume. Christian says, "Having read the backstory to the perfumes, unhinged is a great word." Yeah. I knew this would be a good video for me to do today. Gavin says, "Sweetie Pie, I don't think she's trying to be unhinged." Well, we'll park that one to one side. Anyway, to try to just stay on track, in 2016, she released a perfume called Scent of a Dream that was composed by none other than Francois Robert. Apparently, it turned out to be a huge flop, but it's probably because it was actually too good a scent for the brand's aesthetic. I thought it was a very, very interesting piece of work. There is a review of it from September 2016 on Persolaise.com. It was actually very, very surprisingly, completely unexpectedly, a kind of interesting 1970s style chypre, almost a sort of update of Aromatic's Elixir, which was the last thing that anybody was expecting, but it did also come with plenty of unhinged. And the reason I've got my review from 2016 here on the tablet is because in the review I quoted from the press release that came with the perfume then. I mean, this was amazing. So I'm quoting now. Actually, I'm quoting from my review. So she said her perfume, quote, can attract others and also change the energy frequency of the people and environment around you. It has the power to attract your magical future. It can help you create your own destiny through its psychoactive fluorotic frequency. You can use it to create an emotional pathway with someone else's energy centers, and it also acts as a portal that attracts love, light, power, positivity, and sex to the wearer. That was the 2016 scent. That's a lot of promises, darling, says Sister Parfum. Yes. Paul Clinton says, Persolaise on a Tuesday, I am having a plumpgasm. Oh, I so need to look up this plumpgasm thing. So when I found out that there were 6 new Charlotte Tilbury scents coming our way, that, you know, that she wanted to go back into the perfume world, I thought, well, this needs some checking out, because I kind of, oh, great, I've lost everything on the tablet now. I wondered whether the perfumes would actually be interesting again, but whether they would be surrounded by this claptrap, this baloney. So anyway, the claptrap is kind of present. The baloney is very much present. I think the perfumes are actually better than expected, but probably not as interesting as Scent of a Dream. Now, they have been made, this is what's weird about them. They have been made by IFF, they've been made by Dominique Ropion and Anne Flippo, and the lady whose name I'm afraid I always mess up, but it's Juliette Carragazoglu. I think one day somebody from IFF is going to have to tell me the correct way of pronouncing her name. 4 of them are by Anne Flippo. I'll tell you which ones they are. But what's interesting about them is that actually they are far from terrible. Now, I don't know who's going to, you know, which of you out there is going to want to buy them. Which of you out there is going to want to say that you're wearing a perfume called Joyphoria, or God help us, More Sex. Yes, one of these is called More Sex. One of them is called Magic Energy, I think. But, you know, if you want to get past the names, and if you want to get past the like super gaudy, garish packaging, these are a lot better than they have any right to be. Here's the unhinged bit. Charlotte Tilbury, MBE, founder, chairman, president, and chief creative officer, darling, of Charlotte Tilbury Beauty, has innovated with an industry-disrupting collection. They're industry-disrupting, okay, of 6 new capital letters, exclamation mark in the middle of a sentence, fragrances alongside neuroscience experts and master perfumers from IFF that harnesses the power of scent to unlock emotions. That's the kind of rubbish that we just need to kill now. And I have got very little, next to no time for the whole, oh, perfumes are going to tap into neuroscience and they're going to alter your moods. Perfumes have been doing that for decades, you know, for over a century. And I don't think there's somehow some new way in which they're doing them. To create Charlotte's olfactive worlds, the perfumers used a palette of 3 types of ingredients. Are you listening to this? 3 types of ingredients: natural raw materials, synthetic raw materials, and accords to, to help create fragrances that make you feel and transport you through the power of the senses, as opposed to through the power of the other bits of your body that interact with the world outside your body. I told you there was a lot of crap. What are you all saying about this? Candy Camp says, Charlotte's products are excellent, but the way they're marketed and packaged is too much for me. See, this is what I keep hearing, that actually the products are good, the makeup is good, the cosmetics are good. The whole point of any perfume is just that, says Shabir. Well, there you go. Why didn't they mention back propagation? That would have nailed. Ooh, there's lots. Plumpgasm, back propagation, so much for me to look up. The expert scientist Celine who doesn't have a surname, identified the notes that would trigger the olfactory receptors in the brain to elicit feelings of love, happiness, seduction, energy, empowerment, and calm, and used a, italics, data science algorithm, and italics, to determine the notes. Data science algorithm. Oh, it's just genius, isn't it? You've got to. I mean, it's probably marginally less unhinged than the Scent of a Dream stuff. Maybe somebody said to her, look, Charlotte, darling, you just kind of need to tone it down. But data science algorithm in italics is a good one. This all sounds like that flyer you get in the post, says Christian. Anyway, what is a fluorotic frequency, says Paul. Paul, if you find out, please let us know. Anybody from Charlotte Tilbury's team? If you no, I suppose we're not supposed to talk about fluorotic frequencies anymore because that scent is gone. I still have my bottle of Scent of a Dream somewhere because I thought it was worth keeping. Anyway, we have 6 perfumes, darling, to try, so we should get going. I think we'll start. Let's start with the 4 Anne Flippos, just to keep things logical, simple. And I think we should start with the lightest one in a way. This is called Calm Bliss. It helps that they are all color coded. I kind of like the fact that they're all color coded. So that's Calm Bliss. By the way, these 10 ml bottles are available for retail. The 10 mils are £20. And £130 for 100 mils, which is, a lot less than what some other brands are charging. And I have to say, and I was going to say this at the end, but I may as well say it now, I do genuinely, hand on heart think that these are better than a lot of the stuff that we're getting nowadays, I think, from the likes of Tom Ford, from, I don't know, maybe Le Labo, Byredo, Penhaligons, because there are some dubious Penhaligons releases out there. And £130 for 100 mils of this stuff is something that I would much rather pay, much rather pay than if, for example, some Tom Ford things were £130. And I mean that seriously. That's why I decided to do these ones today. So, Calm Bliss. Calm Bliss. I'm looking here because I did some notes before because I wanted, and we have, as I say, pre-spray blotters. Calm Bliss, I suppose, in a way, sums up the collection as a whole, because it's quite mainstream. In this whole collection, there isn't anything that we haven't smelt before, and I have to say as well that a lot of the ideas and the quality has been loaded in the top. So the top notes are very definitely been designed, a la mainstream, to grab you. And actually, it has to be said, a lot of the top notes of these ones are quite attractive. But it's a sort of aqueous marine floral. But even though it's an aqueous marine floral, look, it's an aqueous thing, and it isn't making me cringe. It isn't a kalone overload. It isn't making me kind of go, oh dear, this is like the wrong side of oysters. There's another one that we're going to have as well that has a kind of seaweedy metallic note that's actually has been done quite well. Gavin says she's very well respected among makeup artists. Yeah, she is. I do genuinely believe that she is. John says Charlotte Tilbury used to be some sort of creative director for Tom Ford. I think that's how she started off successful with her own brand. Okay, I didn't know that. They're all quite linear. They're all quite simple. It's a kind of what you see at the beginning is what you get. They probably don't have as many natural ingredients as the likes of us would like to see in a perfume, but they are a lot better than a lot of the stuff out there. I'm thinking back to the 2 Calvin Kleins, the 2 new versions of Eternity that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago. These are all better than those ones. What do they say about it? This infusion, I mean, here we go. We've got to have a laugh, haven't we? This infusion will help soothe your senses and make you feel reborn with calming, emotion-boosting molecules. Of course, those helpful molecules. It's inspired by the calming, cleansing effects of the sea and lakes of lotus flowers. In a single spray, you'll feel immersed in a calming sensorial experience. It's an ambient, serene dream. Yes, okay. I mean, that is a crazy oversell. In the heart, apparently, it has a serene, watery accord. But I kind of quite respect the fact that for the top notes, they've actually said that it has lavandin oil rather than lavender. I mean, how many brands do that actually, coming out and saying that it's lavandin rather than lavender? Do you feel any of those promised effects, says Laura? No, not particularly, not particularly. But it's not unattractive. It really, really isn't. Pre-sprayed calm is, again, kind of pretty much the same. It's become a little bit thinner. It's become more synthetic than the kind of thing that I would be interested in wearing. But, not as synthetic as I was fearing, not as synthetic as I was expecting. Next, from Anne Flippo, we have Love Frequency, boys and girls. There is very definitely a kind of thing where she's sort of stuck in the 70s as well. Is she, or some sort of cross between the 1970s or AbFab, or those wonderful sketches in moments in a few AbFab episodes where they would do flashbacks to the 60s and the 70s. I think that's the kind of vibe, isn't it? Anyway, Love Frequency, Love Frequency, Love Frequency. Where's my Love Frequency? Here we go. Tracy says, I appreciate the price point, but I'm just not sure I can do it. Good for her, but I'm going to get the new Lutins. Oh, well, yeah, yes. I mean, yes. If it's a choice between those two, darling, go for the new Lutins. Gavin says she has those terrible slip-on slippers with pink feathers on them vibes. Yes, very, very definitely. Charlotte Earned Fame says, equi-styled for creating the Victoria's Secret angel pretty girl glam glow look. Can only imagine her fragrances will follow suit. Could be fun every now and then. Anyway, Love Frequency. Love Frequency. Do you know what Love Frequency made me think of? Love Frequency, and going back to kind of what we were talking about the other day about Frederic Malle announcing he's leaving his own brand. Love Frequency is like a less rich, less complex version of Frederic Malle Une Rose, composed by Edouard Flechier. It's got that same kind of woody, thorny element to it. It does use a fair amount of woody ambers. I mean, Une Rose famously contains a good dose of Caranal, one of the original woody ambers. And those woody ambers, see, at the moment, they're not bothering me, but there are some points in the development of the scent where you just kind of go, oh, okay, that's a little bit too much. But, I did not think that if I were reviewing Charlotte Tilbury scents that I would be sitting here saying to you, oh, it's kind of like a Frederic Malle. I mean, absolutely, without any question, I would say the one, the one that is vastly, vastly superior out of the two is the actual Frederic Malle, the one that's now called Rose Tonnerre. But this is fine. This is okay. Christian says, is that Rose Tonnerre now? Yes, it is. Love Frequency. What do they say about Love Frequency? Oh gosh, I should have organized this differently. Love Frequency, Love Frequency, Love Frequency. Here we go. Discover Charlotte's vision of a modern rose powered by love emotion boosting molecules. Floral, soft, and delicately hypnotic, this enchanting fragrance feels like a warm embrace that attracts the purest love to you and everyone around you, leaving a love scent trail in its path that lasts up to 18 hours. I love the fact that you sort of, not 17, not 19, but up to 18 hours. I mean, it's just brilliant that they had to put that thing in there. Eric says tangent time, but I think Caranal was banned a few years ago. I remember being afraid for Une Rose. Ah, I did not know this. Thank you very much for telling me, Monsieur Eric. Gosh, so now that makes me, because I haven't smelt Rose Tonnerre, and my bottles of Une Rose, gosh, okay, well, maybe Rose Tonnerre actually smells more like Love Frequency. than this one does. Okay. Pre-sprayed Love Frequency. Oh, actually, let me just make a little note to show that this is the second sprayed one. Otherwise, things will get very, very confusing. Pre-sprayed. Yeah, it's just gone very, very quiet. I mean, it's faded away without turning into a horrible mess. Again, thumbs up, tick in that box. And next, and Flippo, we have one. Oh, this I think is a terrible name. Joyphoria. Joyphoria as in euphoria, but you know, it feels like a bad pun in the making. You know, how's that Joyphoria? Or something along those lines. Cheap Imitation says Rose Tonnerre smells nearly exactly the same as Unrehearsed, thankfully. Ah, okay, that's good to know. Joyphoria is the one that doesn't have a translucent bottle. Let us have a spray. So we're still on Anne Flippo. I think from memory, this is my least favorite because I kind of thought for something called Joyphoria, it was actually pretty unjoyful. This is the white floral. It's meant to be tuberose and jasmine. It is not easy to do those sorts of flowers convincingly on a budget. And this is the one that actually, I mean, it's not screechily synthetic, it's not overly synthetic, but what it is a bit sedate and a bit boring, which is just not the direction you want to be going in for something called Joyphoria. And actually, I think if I were doing a scent called Joyphoria, I wouldn't be going for white florals. I mean, white florals, I suppose they can be joyful, although I don't know, they're more about intoxication and seduction and headiness and all of that sort of, but maybe that's Charlotte's idea of joy. Natalie says, so glad to catch a live on these, though very late to the party. Finally smelled all the Les Indemodables today at Le Secret du Marais in Madrid. Oh, that was a great shop. I remember being there a few years ago. Loved Vanille Havane the most. I'm so glad you have tracked down that brand. Amethyst Glow says, to be fair, they might be worth getting the 10 mils for my daughter. They are cheap enough. I know. I mean, they're going to make good gifts for people. A good little holiday scents, travel-y scents. It's, you know, there's a lot to be said for 10 mils. Pre-sprayed Joy from memory is, yeah, it's pretty flat. It's pretty flat. This is my least favorite. This is my least favorite, I have to say. And the final one of the Anne Flippos, watch out. I don't know what the YouTube is going to do. I mean, I suppose you're allowed to say the word sex on YouTube, aren't you? This is the one called More Sex. And when I found out that one of these, there you go, was called More Sex, I actually did think to myself, oh my goodness, is this going to be like one of those sort of do you remember back in the day when people used to sort of take quotes from reviews of plays and reviews of movies? They would take a quote out of context. This practice isn't permitted anymore. They would take a quote out of context and actually make out that the critic had given a positive review of the film or the play or whatever, when in fact they hadn't. So I thought, you know, this could be like, you would be mistaken if you thought that this perfume was going to give you more sex or was going to get you more sex or something. But it's not bad. I think the funniest conclusion to be drawn from this one is that clearly it's people in the Middle East who are having more sex than anybody else, because this is the kind of, we've smelt it a million times before, sort of Arabian saffrony rose scent. Gavin, I am not even going to read that, but you know, that's self-loving is as a fine thing, but I'm not going to read that comment out, cheese. If you get banned from my channel by YouTube, I'm not going to be held responsible. Yeah, this is let's see what they say about it. More Sex is like a lust potion that transports you from day to dusk. A lust potion that transports you from day to dusk. See, if I'm using a lust potion, I don't want it to make me teleport, or I want it to kind of like get me some action. But anyway, this is a lust potion that transports you from day to dusk. powered by seductive emotion-boosting molecules. For the senses, it's a carnal treat. It glides over your skin, leaving a sexy, hypnotic scent in its path that can put you and everyone around you in the mood. Okay, that could be a bit dangerous. But this one also lasts up to 18 hours. So now I'm picturing the final scene of the Tom Tickfer perfume movie and the end of the book as well. You and everyone around you in the mood. To be used with caution, please. Charistian says 60% of the time it works 100% of the time. CJ Lamb says it's hard to believe this copy was written completely unironically. I think the fact that you find it hard to believe says more about you than it does about the people who wrote the copy. We need some background music. Well, start playing your Barry White now. If I do start playing any music now, then the copyright people will be out. This one again is fairly predictable, but there will be brands out there who will charge easily 3 times as much as this, if not 4 times as much, for that kind of dusky, saffrony Middle Eastern rose. And I'm not kidding. Oh yeah, and sorry, I should have said leather as well. It's got a peppery, leathery feel to it. I mean, the leather, I suppose, is meant to make us go. But yeah, if this were a private blend, and I could very easily see it being something like a private blend, except they probably put a little bit more in the dry down materials, it would cost £400. Pre-sprayed more sex. Okay, we're not even gonna go there. Yes, the one I sprayed earlier. Yeah, again, touch of the woody ambers there. Amethyst Glow says Penhaligon's Cairo sounds similar and is over £200 now. There you go. You see, it's a touch too synthetic. I think those other sorts of brands would put a little bit more money, would devote a little bit more of the budget to having somewhat more substantial dry down notes. I think this is where the collection falls down in terms of the compositions. But even so, it is worth bearing in mind the price point. Next, we get to Monsieur Ropion, who has been charged with giving us some Cosmic Power. Cosmic Power. I actually quite liked Cosmic Power. I think Cosmic Power is my favorite over the 6. Andrea says, we're having way too much fun in the middle of a Tuesday. I know, we should do this more often, shouldn't we? And oh, look, I'm making the earth move. Gavin says, I asked for an F bleeping fabulous in John Lewis and got a dirty look. I'm seeing that word actually being blanked out more and more in the shops. Anyway, Cosmic Power from the one and only Monsieur Ropion is a very, very nicely done spice composition, actually. Always like a bit of spice. So, yeah. Really, really nicely done opening of cinnamon and cardamom and pepper and the pepperiness of elemi wood. Very, very kind of bright and uplifting. What do they say about it? Cosmic Power. Where's Cosmic Power? Where's Cosmic Power? Come on, tablet. Here we go. Cosmic Power. Oh, I don't have a blurb for that one, do I, or don't I? Never mind. Perhaps we've been rescued from reading about Cosmic Power, but I can tell you the notes. Invigorating black pepper oil, divine cinnamon bark oil, uplifting bergamot oil, and fresh woody elemi oil. In the heart, opulent, typo, rose ultimate, and empowering frankincense, a mystical amber accord in the base, enchanting vanilla bean extract, and powdery musks. It's a nicely done spice composition. If we go to the pre-sprayed one, it's and these were done, I don't know, maybe about 3 hours ago or something like that. It's nearly gone, But I guess I'd rather it was fleeting and faded than something that was just pumped full of horrible, nasty synthetics that just then smelt really, really shrill and screechy and unpleasant. Joan says, I remember when the perfumes were launching, that color theory was used too. I think they may have dropped that bit of marketing, or maybe that bit of marketing came, after I got this release. And then finally, the one from Juliette Karagazoglu, which is called Magic Power. No, sorry, that was Cosmic Power. Magic Energy. And this one has an intriguing opening. There you go. There's Magic Energy. Because I wouldn't have expected a kind of metallic seaweedy note from this collection, and yet here it is. Let's have a spray. No, let's spray properly. It does sound as though the press launch for this one was one not to have missed. I wasn't able to go to it in London. Apparently, it was rather a bonkers affair, so I can't tell you anything about what it was like. I wish I had been there. Magic Energy. So, yeah, it's, again, a lot more pleasant than it has any right to be. It's, what did I write down here? I've written that it's green, woody, metallic, that the seaweed note comes through. Something kind of metallic, earthy about it as it progresses. These are interesting descriptors I'm using here, and I did not think that I need to stop shaking everything, don't I? I did not think that I would be using such interesting descriptors. What do they say? Awaken your senses with a boost of grounding energy powered by emotion boosting molecules. Magic energy is love, light, and purity. It's just like being transported to a magical forest, grounded and green. This fragrance will enhance feelings of energy and lift your spirits. There we are. And it has got bergamot, myrtle. In the heart, it has sophisticated cypress ultimate, seaweed absolute, base cashmere wood, which must be in cashmeran, palo santo, ambergris, accord, and a libanum resinoid. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. And pre-sprayed. I can't believe I've been doing these for over half an hour. We need to get a move on so we can do the second one. Yeah, and actually, if anything, it becomes a little bit more metallic and a little bit more patchouli-like and earthy as it progresses. So there we are. Putting aside the darlings, putting aside the unhinged, putting aside all of that, this is by no means the worst collection we have seen. So do check them out. And as I say, £20 for 10 mils, nowadays is a little bit of a bargain anyway. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in. For those of you who are around for the lives, we will be back in a few minutes with another showcase that's going to be so different from this one, I promise. See you in a bit. Bye now.